be with you. I wanna be with you.
Again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your Ipswich Buses Matchday Preview show. I'm, of course, your host, Martin the Governor Lambert, here to tell you you can go contactless now on Ipswich Buses. Head to their website. The link is in the chat, in the description. Contactless payment on Ipswich Buses. Talking of contactless, hopefully our backline won't be contactless come Saturday, and they will be putting in the tackle, will be putting in the shift, and we will be seeing a clean sheet. That would be nice. But at the end of the day, it's 3 points that matters. We're here to talk you through what we feel Saturday may bring, from team news to 11s to score predictions to Prediction League and the first league reveal table of the season. So it's taken 5 weeks for me to finally get around to do it. The chat is absolutely going mad. Stiggy's in. Good evening, Matt. Good evening, Colin. Stephen Parry. Evening all. The lads of Biscreen tonight with an away day beer. Absolutely love that, Stephen. Absolutely love that. Real and truly. Lee Brown. Good evening all. Mark Rattle. Good evening. Ant Steele. Anthony Steele in the building. Love to see you, Ant. Match day. It's always a tricky one after the international break, isn't it? It's like trying to get the steamship just going again, because the break just sort of grinds it to a halt. And in some respect, that could be good for us at the moment, particularly as we haven't won a game yet. But now it's about slowly easing her back out of the dry dock and into. And this moth on Monday was attacking me on Monday, and it's attacking me again. This moth has waited 4 days to have its revenge. While I try and zap it, I'm going to bring in my first contributor. He wasn't listed as being on the show, but he is. He just wasn't listed because he hasn't got around to making his own photo yet. I mean, what are you doing, John? It's something in it when the designer hasn't even designed himself.
I'd totally forgotten I needed to do one for myself.
Shocking, isn't it? I mean, I was going through the folder about 5 times yesterday, thinking there must be George, but must be one for George here somewhere. There must. Anyway, how are you, my friend? It's been a while.
I'll get it. Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yeah, how are you?
I'm tonight not too good. Bit of pain in the back, so you might see me shudder a few times that you haven't done before. But I'm all right. Looking forward to this weekend's game, Bolton.
Me too.
Bolton always throw up a good fixture with Ipswich Town. It's
history, isn't it? Yeah.
History, entertainment value, all those different sorts of things. But it's been a while since. Good evening, Russell. Welcome in. It's been kill that moth, said Callie, because Callie's on the show with me Monday, George, and the thing just dive bombed me out of nowhere. So I don't know where it's gone now. No moths have been harmed in the making of this TT production. We have to say that just in case, Rita or whatever her name is, or whatever his name is, the group that pops on by anyway, isn't getting all Partridge-esque now. It is going to Alan Partridge levels. It's been a while. I'll tell you what else has been a while. Armando Dobra. He has been out on loan, not a while, but at Colchester United. I know you're big on young players getting their chance and possibly coming back into the fold. So I really want to speak to you about Armando Dobra, because I spoke to a few people about it, but I've not heard what you think of that loan deal and what your expectation, I guess, is for him.
My expectations are waning for Armando, I think. I think it's almost come at the wrong time this season for him, really, with the massive overhaul. I think if things had been different / worse, and we hadn't been taken over, and we hadn't just had the the summer of summers from a transfer perspective, we probably would have. He would have had to been much closer to the fold, a bit like he was at the end of last season. But I think it's just he's a victim of circumstance. Is the way I'd put it at the moment. He just, it's probably a good move for him. Hopefully, he has.
So, what are your expectations from him then, George? Like what are you looking for weekly on Quest? And come January, what do you want to see as his stat line? I guess
it's hard to say because I don't have expectations for him purely because I'm not sure that this isn't the end of Armando Dobra at Town.
I think it is. I agree with you. No, I agree with you. I think
that's not me saying that I think it should be or that I'm hopeful of that outcome. I'm certainly not. But I just think, he had a chance. He came back into the fold. We were led to believe over the summer, and you've got to assume that Cook saw something in him, and I think we've all seen something in him at some point or another. But I think, if he has an absolute barnstormer at Colchester, then great. And obviously would welcome him back, but I don't know what it would take for him to. I don't think he's been sent out with the view to him coming back into the fold in the second half of the season.
No, I don't. As Stephen says, if he doesn't start getting goals and assists, he'll be moved on. I think the first hurdle before I bring the Fisherman in is appearances, and then it's getting consistency out of those appearances. Because at the moment, he's very game short. Obviously, he didn't go out on loan last year through his own, a bit of his own making. So he appears to be a few games short. Kelly says every time I see Nunny on the show, it reminds me how common as FI sound. Ben Moore, I don't think Dob will be here in 3 years. I think he'll be here in 6 months. Leanderson, agree unless he was at League 2, he would leave in the summer. Right. Talking of ripping things up, this man has been known to rip a few things up in his time. He's, of course, the resident Fisherman.
No. Pretty Caroline.
Mike, the Fisherman Brown. Nunny's been caught out by the new intro being shorter.
I was taking the collar off of my kitten because it's jingling and it's annoying me more than Stephen's alarm.
I'm trying to condense the intros a little bit when I
don't like them more than 3 seconds long.
When I don't like the person. So you're lucky you got one, quite frankly. Anyway, Mike, welcome in. How are you? Look, the only one that gets played in full these days is Tuxes because that's a cinematic work of art on my behalf. I'm still waiting for Martin Scorsese or whoever. I don't know many film directors. There you go. You've caught me out. You've caught me out here. Steven Spielberger. Him as well. Mike, welcome in. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Bit tired, but I'm all right. Yeah.
The chat is going mad here, Mike. We're saying, where's the headphones? Tom Pitts, where's the headphones? Matt Spanner, boo, no headphones. Stephen Parry, where's the headphones? Kay says his has played in full. Any Christmas tree formations tonight? Asked Ben. Ben, don't start him, please. He's just stopped phoning me about it. There aren't. Anyway, Mike, what may cause a little bit of issue here, though, is the 22-man squad that was announced today, or that they submitted for the first part of the season. Miles Kenlock was excluded from that 22-man, but Caden Jackson was included. What are your thoughts? I know because I know through pre-season you were a big fan of old Miles. So how are you feeling this evening?
Look, Miles is not going to. He's not going to progress at Ipswich. These headphones. Look, if I could nick them off my door, I'd wear them, but I can't. She's got them upstairs. She's listening to Peppa Pig or whatever she watches. I'm not surprised, Miles. I mean, he's not going to get a run of games at Ipswich no matter what happens.
He ain't now.
No, well, he needs to go. He needs to go to another club, and hopefully he'll progress his career somewhere else. But Jackson, for me, was more of a surprise than anything. I just can't get my head around that one. I don't know what he offers. I don't know what he offers.
He offers a pair of legs up front, doesn't he?
We got far better players.
Yeah, I mean, who missed out? Who missed out for Jackson to be in the squad?
Miles Kenlock.
Sorry.
Who missed out as a forward option for Jackson to be in the squad? I guess that's the.
I don't think anyone did. They're all there. So really, I think it came down to they had 22 slots. They may even flip the coin.
I think I'd have rather had Kenlock than Jackson, to be honest. At least Kenlock offers something.
That's why I asked you. You see, there is a method to the madness occasionally.
Yeah. Strange one, that.
I'd rather have.
Strange one.
I'd rather it was the way it was, George. How do you see it? Because obviously Jackson's a striker, has got some history in this division, be it with us or someone else. Kenlock's got a history of well, not a lot, sadly. How do you see it?
I'd be surprised if we see much from either of them. Whichever one was in the squad. To be honest with you, I think he might get run out in cup games, depending on how well we do in cup games. But given the strength of us up front and with two what look like solid options at left back, I'd be surprised if either of them had much of a chance over the next 4 months.
Yeah, we've got Lee Anderson need 4 strikers. Yeah, I mean Jackson's already been on the pitch, off the bench, on the bench. Callie, Pompey been on him all season. We won't loan to them. Another League One club came in for him last day of transfer. That was Miles Kenlock, Mike D. Us giving Stanley nearly 2 million for Jackson sums up Evans's recruitment. Mark Dowling, Ed Shearer would be a better squad player than Caden Jackson. Stiggy, don't think Jackson could strike a match. Well, that's unfair. He has. I mean, when we were riding high, him and Norwood seemed to be, toast of the town, talk of the town, talking town. They were it for us at that period of time.
Norwood was.
No, they were a pair.
Norwood was. I would put Norwood, a 100% fit Norwood, ahead of any of the strikers we currently have. 100%. Bangs in goals. He does it, and I know that people are going to disagree, but that's my opinion. I would put Norwood ahead of any of the strikers we've got at the moment. A 100% fit Norwood, not a one that's half.
You'd
half
put
fit one
Norwood ahead of any striker we've got at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you not heard of a man called Macaulay Bond?
No, mate. Bangs in goals for fun. Yeah, his work ethic, his work rate, his energetic on the pitch.
Let's get some underpants from behind here because you're talking absolutely out of your backside. You need to be covered, mate.
Not in a million years.
George, Bon, Norwood.
You're going to make me follow that. I don't quite agree. I think Norwood was. I have no issue with Norwood as a footballer at all, and I'm not suggesting that I have an issue with him in terms of why he shouldn't play. I don't think he's the best forward option that we have. I think he's probably shown what he can give us at this point, and I don't really know what 100% fit Norwood looks like. I mean, I can only assume that he hasn't been 100% fit while he's been with us. If he bangs in goals for 2 years.
That's the problem, isn't it?
As much as I think he's scored some good goals, and I like the look of him when he's on form, I've not seen him banging in goals for fun yet.
He's been injured. This is a problem, isn't it? He's been injured. He's just constantly being injured. I'm telling honestly, Cook wouldn't keep him. Well, saying that he's kept Jackson, but for me, all day long, I do rate Norwood. He's the only one. He's the only one in the squad of last season that actually, when he did come on the pitch, put some effort in.
I've not had enough Wayday beers yet for that.
Look how many games he played last year? Was it 14?
Not enough. That's his issue. He's been in nearly 2 years.
We're
not using a fully fit James Norwood.
How many goals did he score?
It doesn't matter. Macaulay Bond has already proved to be so much better.
Someone in the group chat. Let me know how many games he played.
Tom says he'd rather have Brett Pittman over James Norwood.
Yeah, but that's fine. Right? Listen, it's all very well going on about Bonnet and he's this sudden wonder striker. Yes, he's in form at this moment, but doesn't mean to say he's going to stay in form, does it? Well, no, come on. You want my opinion? You want my opinion on the show? I'm giving you my opinion. I'm telling you now, right? How many games did Norwood play for us last season, and how many goals did he score in them games he played?
I don't have the information to my hand.
The game ratio is well up there. Simple as. For League One, he's a hell of a striker. No, I'm not saying.
And that was a James Norwood propaganda statement brought to you by Mike Brown.
I'm telling you how it is. I'm not gonna sit there and say otherwise.
No, that's fair. That's what you're on here for. That's what you're on
Absolutely.
here for. The chat.
There's no question about Norwood. There is it like Norwood's in the squad. The conversation around why and whether Jackson should be in the squad. I don't dislike Jackson as a footballer. I don't want to sit on the fence about everyone, but I think that the problem for Jackson is the one up front. I don't think he suits that from what I've seen of him. He didn't shower himself in glory in the one preseason game that I saw him in at Bury with you guys, but I don't think there was any reason for him to. I think Jackson's a perfectly solid League One footballer, but I think he struggles on his own up front, and I think Norwood suits that role a hell of a lot better. But I think we have an embarrassment of riches at the moment, and I wouldn't personally put him above Piggott or Bonnet.
Okay, but moving on to the overall 22, on paper, the fact that we're having this conversation to kick off the show says it all, really, in the sense of, is it Norwood over Bonn or Bonn over Piggott or Piggott over Norwood? There's so many different options and permutations, and it's quality throughout. So how do we go about getting the best out of this 22? Is it a settled 11 with the rest looking in? Is it a Claudio Ranieri Tinkerman style system where you might see a bit of the old Lambert bingo ball re-emerge from the cupboard?
I very quickly went from Ranieri to Lambert.
Well, apparently he played for big clubs. Apparently he played for absolute huge clubs. But while you answer that question,
he's
George,
managed a pile of shit, though, hasn't he?
We'll
yeah. Get out.
So is it the Lambert bingo ball?
How do you embarrass yourself within 5 minutes of the show? By governor.
So is it the Lambert bingo ball, George, or is it a settled 11 with the remaining players on the outside looking in, just waiting, and that could come in a week, 6 weeks, 10 weeks, or never's time?
That's really tough to answer until we start playing. Well, till we start winning football games. I think that Cook will know. I trust Cook to have the answer to that more than I do myself. He's trying to make his formation, his structure, strategy, whatever you want to call it, work. And at some point, hopefully it will work. And I imagine that he will stick with that team. We know what formation he's going to play, right? I imagine that he will stick with the team once it starts to click. But I expect him to tinker until it does.
Okay, which obviously, because the first 5 games, that big word, Mike, has been gel. Well, you don't gel by tinkering. And George says he trusts Cook there. I know for a fact what you're probably going to say when I answer this. Get beat this weekend. Where do you sit, Mike?
What with Cook? If you lose to Bolton, just get rid. Bring in someone new.
Really? That's your honest opinion?
No. You've got to look. It's all very well sitting here saying, we need to settle level. We got to have a gel in and all this new players. Cook's record at the club is not great. He knows it. And we lose to Bolton. That's just another nail in the coffin, as far as I'm concerned. I've said it all along. I want Cook to succeed, but he's got to get out of this stubbornness of his. I only play a certain way. Well, that's predictable. Good managers don't play a certain way. Good managers change things up mid-game. Do you know what I mean? That's the bottom line. Good managers do that. Burley did it. And did it well. Mid-game, change formation, mid-game. Change things around. Put players on, put players off. Good managers do that. Cook's formation and style is very predictable. And I'd like him to be a bit unpredictable. You can look, we're sitting here saying, right, we know Cook's formation. Okay, so I'm Bolton manager, and I'm thinking, right, okay, we know what he's going to do. We know how he's going to play, so we'll do this to counteract it. And that's what's happened with every team that we've played under Cook. And the same with Lambert. Happened under Lambert. Very predictable football. And when it's predictable football, it's very easy to play against eventually.
A wise man once said, "Players make formations, not formations make players." So in that regard, we all know it's going to be a 4-2-3-1, and you're right. Even Bolton do. So in that regard, is it the personnel then? So are you more open to a Ranieri style tinker where this week might be 11, then the following week might be a different 11 or a different 8? Because with that I'm asking the question because with that comes a bit of risk. Because if you beat Bolton 2-1 this weekend, for example, and then you go and change 8 players for Lincoln and you don't win, people that then opens you up for more debate, for more questioning, more. Well, why do you change the team? But are you saying actually?
I'm not saying.
What are you saying?
Well, I'm not saying you tinker with the team too much, but you can change formations. We've got the players to do that. We can play 4-4-2 diamond. We can play 3-5-2. We've got the players to do that. We can play 4-3-3. We can play 4-2-3-1. We can play 4-1-4-1 if you want. The thing about this squad, we do have the players that can change. You can change the formation. You don't necessarily have to change the personnel. You've got your players sitting on the bench to make an impact. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the problem. It's very easy. It's very easy to say, oh, let's tinker around and mess it around too much. No, you do need a settled 11 side. You do need what you call your first team players, first 11 side, and then you have your impact players. And if you get injuries, you bring in your impact players and you bring up new personnel on the bench. But the reality is people sitting saying, Tux, I get that. You can't, but how much longer have we got to sit here and watch our team lose, or give away a 2-goal lead, or for me, I want Cook to succeed, and I think he's capable of doing it, but he's just got to be a little bit more flexible.
Okay, Ben Moore. It's about being smart with how we play. Our football's not the same thing. We can play 3-5-2. We have adaptability in the side. Dennis, given Cook has just been back beef style by the owners, the recruitment is not going anywhere soon, and I agree with that. And I think we could turn out on Saturday, George, and get rolled 8-0. I still don't think Cook would be moved on, because Ashton's talking about patience. He's talking about time. Like I get what Mike's saying to a degree. 5:05 Saturday evening, while I'm outside Sir Alf Ramsey doing the post-game show, there ain't going to be a ripple of Paul Cook's being sacked. This isn't, is there? George?
I'm just thinking about how to phrase my answer. So I'm slightly dubious about the Cook's been backed thing. I think Ashton is probably responsible for bringing a lot of the squad. From hearing him speak the other day, I think Ipswich Town have been backed as a football club. I'm not sure that I'm not saying that Cook hasn't been involved, but I don't think that's a reason to think that he's not at risk at this point. I agree with Mike in terms of I would like to see him be a bit more adaptable in game.
Yeah, agree with that.
I think I'm my biggest concern about Cook at the moment is what he's lost in Liam Richardson and his I'm not going to say refusal, but the fact that he isn't bringing in an assistant. I think he might have lost a bit of a tactical foil there, which he could probably do with. And it doesn't seem to be manifesting itself in Roberts et al. At the moment. Coming back to the gelling phrase, I think it's easier to criticize that or be dubious of it, but it's not about 11 players gelling, it's about the squad gelling, right? Because it's not going to be the same 11 players gelling. It's not playing every week, sorry. It's not. That subs are going to have to come on and the team are going to have to gel when they come on. People are going to get injured, the team are going to have to gel when that happens. It's not just about finding an 11 that all play well together, and you can't criticize the manager for being tactically I'm not going to say inept, tactically
naive,
naive potentially, and I don't know enough about football tactics to claim that he is, but you can't suggest that he is without giving them time to gel to all of those scenarios that he could change it to in the 70th minute or the 80th minute or the 50th minute or whatever. So it's really tricky. It's really tricky. But I think I said it on the pod towards the end of last season. I would be surprised if there aren't bells ringing somewhere. I can see them off. Alarm bells ringing after 10 games if we're going the way we're going at the moment. I think if we'd won 3 and then we lost a couple or drew a few, if we'd done better up to this point, then I probably would have withdrawn my 10-game comment from last season. But I think this is about as ordinary a start to the season as I would put up with if I just come in and back the club the way that I have as an ownership group. And I'm not saying that if we lose to Bolton, he should go. Absolutely, I'm not. But I am also questioning the assertion that they won't be talking about it.
Okay, it's a fair point. We've got Ben Moore, by the fans, for the fans. Love the opinions tonight. Facebook user, biggest transfer target next one should be number 2 for Cook. Again, another Facebook user. We can't have another run of games before winter and still struggling near the bottom. We do need to keep an eye on the task of climbing the league and not accepting being in the bottom half of the table, blaming Gel. Dennis, a lot of the players recruited have previous links with Cook. He's been backed as far as I can see. Mike D, fullbacks bomb on and Evans drops deep in games, does change to 3-4-3. Ben Moore, tactically unaware at times. We don't look like we can change it 50 minutes or later. We leave it until 75 plus when the game hasn't got much left. Let players come on to try and affect the game. Yeah, I think Louis Barry being subbed on at one of the games with 2 minutes to go kind of plays into that. That's an absolute waste of time. It's like been on time. Bilal Mosny got his appearance in a Town shirt for all of 34 seconds or whatever it was. The goat doesn't agree. Thinks it's ridiculous talking about sacking Paul Cook. Come on, guys, we'll be winners at the end of the season. Keep the faith. Facebook user 19 quite individual players do not make a team. And Jem says trust the process. It will happen. Kay says it was Cheltenham away. Yes, I know it was one of the games. Now I kind of probably know already where the Fisherman's going to go with this, but because we've got such an embarrassment of riches, I wanted to try and sort of drill down a couple of positions or area groups and to see what you think. So sort of up the top, we've got an embarrassment of riches up front. We've got Norwood, we mentioned, Piggott, Bond, Chaplin, Fraser, Edwards, Selina. There's probably someone missing here. So when everyone is fit and ready to go and firing, what is your preferred 4 up the top? How would you... Because it's going to be a 4-2-3-1. So that's what I'm sticking with here. Who's your one up top, and what's your? Well, that's his formation mode, and that's I can't change that. And there's no point me saying let's do a 4-2-4 because that ain't going to happen on Saturday afternoon. So 4-2-3-1. What would your 4 at the top be? What would you 1 up the top and then 3 behind be? George, you can go first while Mike has a little think about who plays behind Norwood.
Thanks, mate. I really struggled with this earlier when you asked me for the 11, and in the end I jibbed out a bit and just assumed that the people that were injured before the break were still going to be injured. So yeah, it's really tough.
It is. It's good. It's embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a I'm not complaining about how tough it is, but it's super difficult. I think Edwards is at the moment. Edwards is a no-brainer, almost the only one for me, which feels a bit odd, but I think he is almost the only one. I think I would play Bon up front at the moment purely because he just seems to be on fire, and I just think he's the one that seems to be giving the most and getting the most out of it at the moment. It feels daft to choose a top 4 without Selina in it.
It does.
But where do you play him? I don't know that he doesn't play best through the middle, and then that leaves Chaplin and Fraser. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers.
It is for us.
Burns been playing reasonably well when he's played, and I think that attacking 3 in midfield, Edwards, Selina, and Fraser.
That's what I wrote down.
In how you can tell them to just go and play football. It's terrifying. It really is terrifying. And I know it's not that easy, but just having those 3 and Chaplin as a kind of, I don't even want to call him a backup in case he's watching, because it's like I just don't know where it's bonkers.
It is. I went for the same as yourself. Bon, Edwards, Fraser, and Selina. Mike, I think it's about bringing players into the team that's going to bring up that are the same standard as Edwards. Edwards is probably, as George says, probably our number 1 nailed-on player in that front 4 because he's looked the cut above. The issue is the players haven't been on the same book as he has because he's been, so far ahead of them. Selina, we know, is quality. I think will play on the right. That's my personal opinion. Fraser centrally, best number 10 in League 1 for the last 2 years. Bon, who's had a great start to the campaign. Edwards wide left. I mean, that's pace, power. energy. It's everything you want in a front four, everything we've not had in a front four in a long time. But you would have Norwood at the top. So are you different with your...
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
I wasn't leading at all.
Hang on a minute. You can't just throw that. You're putting words in my mouth. Please don't do that.
Okay, fine.
You asked me. I said 100% fit Norwood, and the fact of the matter is 100% fit Norwood we're not going to have. So bottom line is, I would go with Bon, Edwards, Selina, and Fraser. No two ways about it. Bond's on fire at the moment. You can't kick a player down. If you're scoring goals at the moment, let's keep him up top. My issue with our midfield is that they're not getting in the box enough. They're not backing up the one striker, and that was very much apparent in the last game. Sitting on the edge of the box when we need people in the box, it's not really helping, is it? It's all very well playing one up front, but that one up front is not the only one that's going to score your goals. You need your attacking midfielders to step up the plate and start banging in them as well. Even your fullbacks, popping up with the head goal, and your defenders, set pieces. The reason why they're set pieces and the reason why they go up is because of the tallest players. The stick up decent. Our crosses have been shocking again this season. I mean, surely just get out on the pitch and repeat, practice crossing. Right between that real difficult area between the penalty box and the edge of the 6-yard box. One of the hardest places to defend there. Do you know what I mean? Start pinging the ball. Start practicing. Keep practicing. Should be practicing doing all that. But yeah, I mean that would be my front four. No two ways about it.
Matt's done our comment the last time we flooded the box. Michael Finch. Mike's going for Holy, Chambers, Ward, Kenlock, Dazelle, Downs, Norwood, Jackson, and Guion Edwards. Matt's Adrian says, forget what players have done before. And Lee says, Selina Edwards, does that leave us light defensively? Well, speaking of defensively, Lee, we have been, sadly been shipping goals. So back four wise, with an Edmondson fully fit, is it Edmondson and Burgess? Is it Wolfie that's done enough over the last 5 weeks to keep his place? So I'll lead this one because I think I'm the only one to probably put up the sword for him, or the shield for him rather. I don't think Luke Wolfen has done anything wrong to warrant being dropped from this team. He had an opening day mistake, but other than that, he's looked assured. And then since Burgess has come in, he's looked even better. And the pair of them, in a different world, would be a good partnership at League One level for a team that hadn't quite got the budget we've got, and they'd be well happy with it. And I just think over a 46-game period, Burgess and Wolfenden would be the shits, if you like, in a good way. I think it's how the kids talk.
Oh, the good shit. Okay,
yeah, the good shit. I'm trying to be, go with the kids here. You know what I mean? Or they say it's sick, and apparently that's the good kind of sick. Fuck me, partridge tonight, Lambert. That's George. Take him.
It's a similar situation to Chaplin for me. I was there on the first day. It's the only game I've been to. I saw on iFollow, but that mistake was pretty horrendous. But it's the first game of the season, so we can forgive him. But I think, spoiler alert, I think my back four has Burgess and Edmondson in this weekend, as assuming that he's fit enough to play. I think at the moment we'll probably see the tinkering happening just because Cook's got nothing to lose at the moment in terms of if he puts Edmondson in and if Selina's fit, he puts Selina in and then he's played a blinder, hasn't he? So, and that's the missing link that we've just been waiting for the whole time. So what have you been panicking about? So I think Wolfenden would miss out from that three, but someone's got to miss out.
Yeah, Mike, you're not a big fan of Wolfenden. Has he done enough to?
Look, I just don't rate him. I'm not going to lie. I'm just kind of bored of hearing his name, to be honest. I just think it's just part of the year of an era gone by now. I just think we just need to, we need, like I said, we've got a really good centre back in Edmondson, and Burgess clearly is a good centre back. Wolfie is a good backup. He'd come in and do a job, but for me, is a bit too wayward for me. I just don't think Wolfie is good enough. I think. Look, I think the problem is he gets away with a lot because he's homegrown, as they call it. You know, he's one of our own and all that. But you know, we've only got to look at our. I mean, for me, no. I'm Edmondson and Burgess at the back, and
yep.
you know. So, but yeah, I'm not. I don't want.
And a lot are. Lee Anderson says Wolfie should stay until he's formed. Jips. Dave Eaton. Trouble is, people are picking Edmondson. Hardly anyone has actually seen him play. Stephen, to be fair, right now is the time to tinker. If we do it, we get some results and it goes bad, it could be worse. Tim Molden would love to see Edmondson. My worry is too many players not match fit. Chaplin, Sanin and Edmondson. Mike D. Wolfie was lucky to miss out on bomb squad.
Absolutely.
Ben Moore, my back 5+ keeper. Saturday, Walton, Burns, Wolf, Burgess, Coulson. Callie heard Edmondson may start Sat and Tosa may be back in squad. Wolf may be dropped completely. But if Wolf's dropped completely, we have to name one less sub than we're applicable to, because you have to have one homegrown player, and he is the homegrown player in the 22-man squad. So, if anything, Cal, I'd be surprised at that. I think it'd probably be Toto missing out on a squad altogether. I might be wrong, but that is the rules as I know it. Ben says Walton in goal. Are either of you going to stand up and I'll pass you the shield of protection that I gave to Wolfie? As either of you going to offer Hladky one last lifeline and say, you got one last chance, son? Go out there and and don't let me down, and give him some sort of American Hollywood film speech, Macbeth or whatever.
I just think Hladky is just having a shocker start of the season, isn't he? He's not a bad team,
tonight, really.
He's not having a great time of it, is he? I just think maybe look, this Walton character he's highly rated, isn't he? So and he comes from a higher league and and a team that's doing quite well. So I think I'd have Walton in goal all day long. Had Hladky on the bench, and Holy should have been in the bomb squad along with Wolfie. So
he was, in fairness, because both goalies were told they could leave. So Di Cornell got himself hooked up with Posh, and I think Holy's now still our third choice. George, you're gonna pick it up as I did for Wolfie, and you're gonna offer some. You're not, are you?
No, I'm not. No, well, again, I think that we've brought him in for a reason. I think if you believe Ashton, I've got no reason not to. We were always.
That's what I meant.
Another keeper. So I think whether Walton is the first choice and Hladky's meant to be the backup keeper, who knows? But given the start we've had, I think, as Stephen said, I think now's the time to tinker. Put Walton in, put Edmondson in. Assuming they're fit enough. I'm not sure that Selena's fit enough to start just yet, but put them in. And if we beat Bolton on Saturday, then everything's forgiven, right? Because the changes made the difference. The players we didn't have in the squad previously, or they weren't fit enough, made the difference. And you can almost hide behind that as the manager, which is rightly or wrongly, it's fine, and he can worry about it again when we fail to win.
Yeah,
but
Mark.
The flip side of that is that if he does make those changes, then and we don't win.
There's Mark Tuxford. Toto misses out altogether. The guy is a liability. Wolf should be in the squad as he's the development player, but Edmondson and Burgess to build a decent partnership. And now Ben Moore says the film I was trying to go for was Braveheart. You are right. I could see the bloke on the horse giving the speech. I couldn't think of the film. Lee Anderson. I've backed Hladky, but Walton is not being brought in for a number 2. Mike D. Ashton said they were looking for 2 keepers. Let Hladky get confidence back in Pizza Cup. Tinker, Taylor, Soldier, Cook. Steve says Taxford. Stephen Perry, I believe he was. It would surprise me. Cook said all season what players he knows and trusts. Callie, all I know is Cook rates Toto over Wolf. Some folks don't like Toto, but ultimately we don't pick the team. Whoever takes the pitch, we just need to back them. Absolutely. But then Jem says Hladky's wrists are made of biscuits. Look, I was driving this Hladky wagon from the very first game of the season. I was laughed at. I was ridiculed. I was made fun of by that man there on the very first Talking Town Sunday show of the season. So yeah, I'm not going to be picking up any baton and saying Hadaki should be keeping his place. Last time before we go on to prediction league, and then 11s and score. Midfield, they've got a bit of a reprieve thanks to the dubious red card panel, if there's such a one. Morsey can't play for 3 games. So is it Evans and Harper keeping their place for the next 3? Does Carroll get a chance at any point, do you feel? How do you see it sort of shaking out between now and, I think it's Doncaster? George, sorry.
Yeah,
it is a bad night for me, isn't it?
I felt like I was the only person that wasn't that impressed with Evans in the first game of the season. We came away and I heard a lot of people saying how amazing it was, and I wasn't hugely impressed with him. And since then, not saying he wasn't great, but I just wasn't as impressed with him as I wanted to be. And since then, people seem to be saying very much the same as what I was thinking at the time after the first match. But I think he stays until Morsey comes in. I don't think he's been bad from what I see and what I hear, and yeah, I'm not so sure about. Carroll's one of those players that I'm not sure what he's been brought in to do. But maybe if we weren't expecting to get, I don't think we were expecting to get Morsey in the end, were we? As backup, but Morsey's been brought in. He's going to be captain. He's going to play in the middle. I suspect he'll play with Harper. Is my gut at the moment, and Evans will sadly be a real luxury on the bench again.
Do you think Tom Carroll is one of those players, and there are a couple that you could look at through the squad that has been brought in as the insurance policy if we don't go and get Selena, Aluko. If we don't get more, because we know that they wanted Selena and Morsey throughout the year, but there comes a point, obviously, when the club's got to decide, well, let's go on the worst case. We're not going to get them, so who have we got? Otherwise, you're left with, you know,
it wouldn't surprise me at all, and
because they're both one-year deals, aren't they? So
yeah, none of it. We probably don't know enough about the deal, but it wouldn't surprise me if Jacobs was a similar situation. It's just that it all came about at the same sort of time, and it was in enough time from our perspective to pull the plug on it. If we'd signed Jacobs, and you know, subsequently whoever it was that we wanted as a first choice, or one of the first choices that we had to become available, then we would have still signed them, I'm sure, because that wasn't the game that we were playing. We weren't playing the game that, we've got such and such in now, so let's not worry about it. You know, it was but Edwards became available on the day or around about the same time, and so you know, and Jacobs was the victim of that, unfortunately. But I suspect there are, you know, 2 or 3 players in the squad that you think, I don't see them playing beyond, you know, the cup games and unless there are injuries, really. And I think Aluko is one of those, and I think maybe Carroll is too.
Okay, Mike Thomas has my opinion here. He said we Morsey and Evans. I feel at Doncaster unless Harper rips it up. I think it'll be Evans and Morsey. Because they've both played together under Paul Cook at Wigan. We're looking at this from a 5-game perspective. Paul Cook's looking at it from a 5-year, or whatever, how many years perspective it is. He's got a lot more body of work to draw upon. Do you see it as Tom and I see it here, or do you think it's going to be, regardless of what happens between now and Doncaster, Morsey and Harper, as some do? How do you see that shaking out come Donny?
Look, Morsey. I think Morsey's been brought in. Look, for me, he's definitely captain material. Either Evans isn't. I'm not convinced with Evans. I'm not convinced with Harper. I think they're two. You know, I don't know. They're just 2 very similar players, Harper and Evans, and they just don't seem to work together. They you know. Normally with 2 holding mids, one will go forward and the other one will drop, or the other one will go forward and the other one will drop. But they're not doing that. They're both going forward, and that's where we get a bit left at the back. If you're playing one holding, that allows your midfielders to go up and what's name, because you've always got that holding midfielder, if your wing backs have gone forward, to create a 3 at the back to sort of hopefully stop an attack. But It's a difficult one. I think it'll either be Evans or Morsey or Harper and Morsey, and it all depends on who performs better. The reality is I agree with George. There's a few players there that are just going to be, cost a cup trophy or whatever, and that'll be, that'll be it. But it's a tough one because, like I said, there's been so many players brought in, and there's a lot of players we got, and it's when we were told at the beginning we're only going to go for a small squad, and we've now got an absolute huge squad. Like I said, we're full of riches. It's yeah.
But there's a difference between a wallet full of pound coins and a wallet full of £50 notes, isn't there?
I'd hardly call a squad of £50 notes. Probably tenors, yeah.
In League One levels, in League One comparison terms, absolutely it is. Absolutely.
But we're fourth and bottom, Martin.
It's 5 games in. You've just left out. You just left your house, mate.
You go on results, and at the moment we're fourth.
Yeah,
and bottom.
6 of them, not 5 of them.
That's fact. We could sit here in 10 weeks' time, and we could be, 4th from the top or in the playoffs, and we could be having a complete different conversation. But the reality is, right now we are 4th from bottom, and that's where we are as a club. No matter what people, opinions on this gelling or it's Cook's tactics, or it's just not working out, or it's not the players. We are where we are right now. What we need to do is, like you say, I want Cook to succeed. I really do. I've met the bloke. I like the bloke. But we do need to start winning games. And giving away 2 goal leads and bringing on players when there's 2 minutes to go is not great tactics. It really isn't. It's not great management.
Okay. Callie says, I think, and he needs to double check this, that Morsey and Harper were on the same team in training sessions, but needs to confirm. Colin wants Harper and Morsey. Stephen agreed, but if Cook was thinking Morsey might be available and he was going to have start season with something until Morsey came in. Adam Flat says, Tom Carroll is arguably our best midfielder, just made of biscuits, hence why he's in League One. If he was made of biscuits, what biscuit would he be, guys?
Genuinely?
Yes. If he was a biscuit,
I don't know enough about Tom Carroll to answer that question. I wouldn't want to be. I feel like it would be unfair on him.
Adam Fast's done it for us. He said Rich T.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, I don't. I'm with George. I'm going to sit on the fence because I don't know either. Look, I'm going to say Rich T. You can't go wrong with a Rich T. So
I had a Jaffa cake tonight. I had a Jaffa donut for my dessert tonight.
Biscuits, Martin. Let's not get into that. Let's not get into that. There was a whole court case about it.
That's how I first started messaging my wife. True story. I sent her a big message. Like the first headline was like, "We really need to talk about something very seriously. I don't know how to say it to you. It's it's really close and personal to me." And in the end, the punchline was, "Do you think a Jaffa cake is a biscuit or a cake?" and that was how we first started texting each other.
And she said cake, right? Because that's the answer.
Oh, anyway, I'm married to her now, so
I go back to the squad.
Smooth, mate. You see that? Smooth like peanut butter on some toast. That's me, pal. That's me all day long, every day.
You should write a book on chat-up lines, Mark.
We've had to replace 19. We've replaced 19 players, right? So somewhere in there, logic dictates our fringe players, and that can't be easy to take as a footballer. But no, it's 19 players. They can't all have come in to be in the first 11, or even in the squad.
It's true. Matt Spell's big roll
glove to push the players. They all want to push for first team.
Absolutely. Yeah,
so hopefully,
absolutely.
Hopefully they'll come in. They've come in, and I know then their place is not guaranteed. And to be fair, it's a really good thing to have if you've got players that are hungry and thirsty and want to win, and want to do well. Then having a squad of players like this, when there's only 11 places, if you're in a restaurant and you've got 3 chefs and there's 3 more chefs sitting out there waiting to come in, you're hoping one of them chefs is going to make a mistake so you get a chance. And I think that's a good thing for the club. I mean, we all have opinions on players and whatever, but and I'm coaching and that. But the reality is last year we were very, very doom and gloom. Now it's like, I guess maybe the expectation's a bit too high this year. I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? hard being a Town fan.
Lee
even,
Anderson
when,
says,
even when we got a bit of Rich behind us, you know.
Lee Anderson says, "Here we go again. Jaffa cakes are not biscuits." And I'm no.
I'm with Lee on that. They're not.
I'm just not having this. All right. So look at the screen. All right. Are Jaffa cakes a biscuit? Customs and Excise ruled that Jaffa cakes to be a biscuit. There you go. All right.
Okay.
So let's park that. I'm not having that blasphemy
It says
about
Jaffa cakes. Doesn't say Jaffa biscuits, does it?
Oh, all right. Okay. On to Adam Flatt. Nearly 100 Premier League appearances. Very good pedigree. I doubt many in his squad could come close. This is about Tom Carroll, Stephen Parry. But players now know they need to perform. Even Bon and Selena need to do well, or someone else will step up. Talking of stepping up, the Prediction League Week 5 is in the building. We have got Ipswich versus Bolton, Arsenal versus Norwich, Cambridge versus Lincoln, and Sheffield United versus Peterborough, because Colchester play tomorrow evening. So, first of all, I'll ask you, George, about Arsenal versus Norwich, because it's a local tie. For you, well, no, it's not, because it's at Arsenal, but you know what I mean.
Norwich are involved, yeah.
How do you see it going, my man?
I mean, I don't see it going anyway. They've had a terrible start to this, like in terms of who they've been playing. They could not have asked for worse. Not that I feel sorry for him. I don't see that going anyway other than Arsenal, I don't think, but maybe not quite as much of a walk in the park as some of the others have found. I'm going to go Arsenal win. I'm going to say 2-1. 2-1.
You think Norwich are going to get a goal?
Yeah, I think they will, yeah.
I suppose the real question there would be: you think Arsenal's going to score 2? But
well, that's the thing. I think, that's the only way I hesitate. Really, is that Arsenal aren't prolific. But yeah, 2-1.
Cambridge, Lincoln, Fisherman. I'll ask you this one because we play Lincoln after Bolton, and Cambridge have Jack Lancaster, who by all accounts is coming into his own now and playing pretty good stuff. How do you see Cambridge versus Lincoln going?
I fancy Cambridge for this one. I think they're on a little bit of a run, aren't they? They're not doing too bad. I think Lincoln are not playing well at the moment, are they? I fancy Cambridge. I'm not even go 2-0 Cambridge on this one. I fancy them. I really do. I think yeah.
Yeah. Mark Tuxer has gone for the uppies to stuff the budgies. Parry's gone 2-1 Cambridge Lincoln. And we've also got a wild card, which is Wroxham, who are first in Thurlow Nunn, versus Mildenhall, who are fourth in Thurlow Nunn. So first versus fourth. The moment you've all been waiting for now is my created bit of artwork, and you'll notice mine. There'll be a few things that give it away as to who's created this. But here is the Prediction League table after 5 weeks. Rob Smith leads the way with 12, Ant Steele with 9, Mike Woods with 9, and Trevor with 6. But as you can see, George, there is a whole load of people, including yourself, on 3, on 6. Literally, you get 2 or 3 out of this week's right. You're up there with Rob Smith challenging again, aren't you? It's crazy how sort of congested it truly is.
Yeah, can soon change from the look at that. Yeah.
I mean, literally, Rich Moss, who's last, he's last for a reason. He gets 2 wins. He can be above Mike Woods and he's in 3rd place. That's it's mental.
Where am I on there?
You're not. It's a good question, actually. It's a really good question. I'm glad you've asked it. I don't know if you are on there. I will have to have a look separately because there's a lot of names, as you can see. If you can pick yourself out of there, I mean, that Martin there.
I've been doing the predictions.
Doesn't mean you got them right, mate. That Martin that you see under Jamie Mills and above Paul Hedger, that's not even me. That's a rogue Martin, as we'll call him. I do have a spot prize, though, because today, unbeknownst to myself, or unbeknownst to be aware of myself, Football Manager have announced that they are releasing the FM 2022 version on the 9th of November. That normally comes 2 weeks early with what I would call a demo, because I'm old, what the kids call is a pre-release. So we've got about 7 weeks. 7 weeks between now and then. I will give away 2 copies of Football Manager 2022 to whoever sits inside the top 3. That'll be a random draw between 1 to 3. And the second copy will be given away to anybody who moves the furthest. So if you're, wherever you are in that list, if you are a climber, as we'll call them, in 7 weeks, if you climb the furthest, you'll win FM22. No questions asked. So, because you're all on 3, so basically you're all level with Dan Barnard, and all the 6s are level with Emerson with Trevor. So it's not the league table. Does that sound fair, George? Have I made that sound fair? Because it's very spontaneous.
It sounds like a good deal to me.
Good stuff. So all you've got to do is enter it. It's free to enter. Takes 60 seconds. Links in the chat. Get involved. And there's another spot prize. We've already given away a Cozy Club membership voucher. That was on the first spot prize. I mean, for a free game, George, this is like, this is like the dog's bollocks.
And you've got a room full of stuff to give away, haven't you, man?
I've got a room full of stuff to give away. Yes, steady on, son. Steady on. You'll probably sound worse than my wife. Right, back to the football. Your 11s. We've gone through how we feel certain things breaking out. I'm going to go with you first there, Fisherman. This is what you think your 11 would be for Saturday. Talk us through it. I'm not going to try and talk it for you. You talk me through it.
Well, the back four speaks for itself, doesn't it? At the moment, because obviously Morsey's not available, so I'd go Evans as one hold. I'd go one holding. I'd have Edwards and Burns, Fraser number 10, and I'd play 2 up front. That's so that to me, and like I said, I've always said this, if your fullbacks, Coulson and KVY are getting forward, Evans can protect the back two, and give him a little bit of protection. And while the Edwards and Fraser and Burns give the front two a bit of support. But, like I said, it won't happen like that. I know it won't. It'll be 1 up front. So, I just think there's more goals in that. I think it's quite a balanced, quite a balanced squad. Like I said, it's because of how Cook plays. It's always going to be 4 at the back, and it'll be a case of 2 holding. Just like I said, it's just but that's how I would play it. I don't like 1 up front, never have done. I always like 2 up front. Force the opposition back.
Okay.
And make them defend rather than us defend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Matt Stannard has just said about the giveaway. You can have FM22 or what's behind the flap. We could do a stick or gamble type situation. That's not a good idea. I might be doing that. Carl Brooks, what happened to Fisherman's 3-2-2-2-1 system or whatever it was? Fisherman Roulette says Carl Brooks. Any room tonight? We're just about to close, I think, Neil. I'll put a link in a second. You can jump on it if you're quick. Lee, that information leaves us light in midfield. No, but I think you've explained it quite well there, Mike, though. I just don't see sort of Cookie going for it. Nunny's gone for what he thinks Cook might go for this weekend. Talk me through it, George. Walton.
Yeah, mine's more of a 4 at the back, but yeah, you can flood the midfield if you like. I think I'm just going with Cook's formation and based on who I presume is fit, who I think will play. I don't think there'll be any massive changes, much as we might like to see 2 up top or whatever we might like to see. It wouldn't surprise me if Walton and Edmondson come in. The only question that I sort of had him in and then took him out and had him in and took him out again was Selena. I wouldn't be surprised if he's just not quite match fit enough yet. Yeah. But if he is fit, then it causes a headache that I wasn't willing to have at the moment. But I think if he did come in, I think Burns might drop out.
So if Selena is fit, you would have Selena over Burns. Yeah, I think most would agree with that. Tuck says great team. George, Mike D. When will Selena be fit? Not sure. Colin Plum, Nunny, spot on. Yeah, you've both picked solid teams there. I'll put it to the guys tomorrow when they do the press conference reaction show, and I'll get them to rate and review it. But it's both credible teams.
Can I say something? So, a couple of comments there saying that my formation would leave the midfield very light. Actually, no, because our fullbacks would give us width, and our 3 midfielders would in front of Evans would consolidate the midfield. So I'm a little bit confused to why they think we would be a bit light in the midfield. It's opinions. I get it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Opinions make it all, all go round, as it were. One of my lights has just gone off. That means the battery's gone. It needs to be charged up. So we are done for the show. Let's have some score predictions before we round off. Let's put the overlay back on the screen. Don't forget, if you are heading to the game this weekend, Ipswich buses, don't get stuck in Portman Road traffic. Come over to Sir Ralph Ramsey, pre-game, post-game. Get involved with the show. Watch it. You haven't got to get involved. You can just watch it. That is getting involved in my book, watching us. All are welcome, be it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or the whole show. We are a friendly bunch. Well, he's not there. So,
thanks, man. Although I was about to point out you put the wrong overlay on, but I'm not going to do that.
Right, I'll be at the Donny game. I'm bringing my brother along.
Are you?
Where do you sit?
Cobblestone, my friend.
Yeah, my brother's. I've just moved my brother's season to get into FF, I think.
Okay. Yeah, Cobblestone is the best stand in the world, particularly Block B of it. So, score predictions. We have got Mark Tuxford with Ipswich 2, Bolton 1. Job done. We're off and running. Matt Stannard, ITFC 1, Bolton 2. Then can't get annoyed if we draw or win. Michael says 3-1 Town. Dave says 2-0 Town. And Ben Moore says, see you there, Gov. You certainly will, Ben. George, score. And hopefully George will see us there. But George, score prediction for the weekend, please.
Yeah, so I will be there, and I'm bringing my two boys, bringing my son and my stepson. It will be my stepson's first ever football game, and my son has only ever seen Ipswich draw. So I'm gonna go with 3-1 Town.
3-1. That's as might be.
He's due a win. I'm hoping for a good performance this weekend. I'm gonna go 3-1.
You're taking your stepson to his first ever game.
First ever football game, and it's going to be Ipswich Town versus Bolton in League One.
There's easier ways to break up, There's much easier ways.
He's excited about it, and
he hasn't seen us play yet.
Well, I can sell us. We'll all be there. We'll all be there. We'll be at Block N, and we'll try and find you this time, and I won't ignore you in Fantasy.
Have they been goalless draws, or have they been?
No, I think Fox has seen goals every time he's been, but always he's been to 3 games, all draws.
I just can't see it through another 0-0. I just can't do it. I sat through too many last year. So many minutes of my life I've missed. Mike, score prediction, please. Hey, Sarah, see you there. Yeah, looking forward to it.
I think we'll score goals. I do think we'll score goals, but part of me says we'll get a draw, but it's Bolton in it, bloody Bolton.
Yeah.
Joe, what? I'm gonna go 3-2. I just consider. Look, if we don't play Wolfie, I'm gonna go 3-1. If we play Wolfie, 3-2.
It's still a win, so that's positive.
I'll be happy with that. Let's be honest. Make a change, wouldn't it? Than watching 0-0 draws at Northampton and not winning the last 5 games. Yeah. Well, 6 games.
Carl Brooks could be on the Desmond. Stephen Parry, we need a win for George's lads. Alf, we do need a win, for everyone, particularly George's boys.
Martin, I need to say, because I completely forgot, my dad's coming on Saturday as well. It's the first football game that I've ever managed to get him to come with me to in my life, so that it's not just going to be mine and my stepson's first football game together. It's mine and my dad's first ever Ipswich game together, which I'm quite excited about. So we need to win for him as much as me.
Yeah, you should have just got him a group on or something. I think you might have.
I needed someone to buy the tickets.
Well, there you go. You see, yeah, Dad always buys.
I bought it.
Brandon, I'm honoured to share a birthday with Selena today. I'm worried as turning 22 could be a sign of another 2-2 draw, but I'm feeling a 2-0 win. The Fridge and Burgess will be like double-decker buses, probably from Ipswich buses. Now, you can carry the conversations on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. Links are in the chat. All our socials are there, but we're done for this evening. We're back tomorrow at 8:30 with Matt, the Media Mogul Phillips, and somebody else. I'm not going to say who it is because I'm keeping Matt in suspense about it. But yeah, looking at the press conference of Paul Cooks tomorrow morning, look how we feel now heading into the game after that. Any talking points that throws up, there'll be a few. I've got absolutely no doubt about it. There always is. But Mike, and George. Thank you for your time this evening. Hopefully we'll be back together after a Town win, or several of them, I think. But yeah, we're done. We're dusted. Don't forget, as I say, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. That's where you can find us and carry the conversation on. But until tomorrow, I am the host. These two are the lovely contributors, and you are the beautiful listeners. See you soon.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without